I quite literally understood that most men don't even wash between their ass. They don't take showers. They wear the same fucking underwear 10 times over. They just don't care. Like, why are you being insecure? Hey guys, it's Cam and welcome back to my channel. So we haven't done a girl talk in a little minute. A lot of you guys wanted to like kind of get my advice on like relationships and friendships. I always love doing these because it makes me feel important, like somebody actually gives a shit about what I have to say. But have you guys send in some questions? I feel like the topic about most of this is going to just be about relationships, so just like friendships, relationships, dating, and kind of just like being in your 20s and figuring life out. This is just my opinion. I am not a fucking genius, unfortunately. I make stupid decisions and do stupid things, and a lot of the stuff I say now, I'm sure in like 2 years I'm not going to agree with. So take everything I say with, what is it? Take everything I say as a grain of salt? That saying, yeah. Let's get started. The first question somebody asked was, I got cheated on and we've been together for 4 years. I love him a lot and he says it was a mistake. Do you think I should go back? I have only been cheated on like officially, because I was cheated on before, but it actually like wasn't actually a for real relationship. But I was cheated on once by my high school boyfriend. He never actually attempted to get back with me, so I don't really know what it's like to get cheated on and for someone to be like, oh, I want to get back with you. But I can say, as someone that like loves very hard, I personally could not comprehend in my mind that cheating happens by mistake. I feel like there has to be a lot of thought that goes into cheating. You don't just like conveniently forget that you were in a relationship or that there was somebody else. I think what happens is that people become so absorbed in the moment and they just don't care. They're just a very extremely impulsive person. I feel like it's not really my place to tell you what you should do, but I think it's a really good time to kind of self-reflect and figure out like, okay, am I willing to forgive this? Am I actually going to be able to forgive this? Because a lot of times we would like to keep people in our life more than we would like to honor our boundaries in ourselves. We're willing to make ourselves uncomfortable just to let this person stay with us. I feel like a lot of people lack empathy. A lot of people are extremely selfish. Every time I'm in a relationship or I feel some type of way about somebody, I am constantly thinking of how my actions are affecting them. The only time that I was ever involved with someone that I really wasn't that into was when I didn't really give a fuck about how my actions affected them. I mean, maybe if they told you before you found out, like, there's brownie points with that. But for me personally, I would never go back to somebody who cheated on me because I just think it's extremely disrespectful. I'm a very huge believer that people don't actually genuinely change. Maybe they're not gonna like actually cheat on you, but they'll always kind of have that thought in their mind again, like they want to do it. Like that's just how their asses are hardwired. Personally for me, my judgment on this is don't go back. Go find somebody that's not gonna cheat on you. But I know what it's like to like be super into somebody, especially if you've been together for 4 years. That's a long ass fucking time. How does it adjust to someone that you would like to take a situationship more seriously? Nobody dates anymore. Like, it's this title of a situationship all of a sudden just came around. So it's basically like people play house with each other and then they don't actually end up ever putting a title on it. Not to like air my business out there that much, but I basically was in a situation like that for 9 months with someone. I think anytime you get involved with somebody, you should both be aware of like your intentions and which way you want things to go. So I'm gonna tie these two questions in. This is also what somebody else asked. They said, so I've been seeing this guy for several months consistently and things have been great. I love hanging out with him and we get along so well. The thing is though, I don't know if he's planning to ask me out and I'm not sure how to ask if he's looking for something serious. Be very adamant on what you want. When you start talking to someone, you don't really have, like those beginning stages, you don't have that very strong emotional connection. At that point, you just have like a physical attraction to someone or a very minor mental attraction to someone and your ego. It may seem like a little nerve-wracking to ask somebody like, hey, what is your intention? And that's only because you're unsure of what their response is going to be. Still in that zone where you can pull back, you'll be okay. You're not gonna be crying in your bed on a Friday night eating ice cream if they tell you they don't want the same thing as you. Like, you'll be able to recover. Maybe for a week you'll be like, damn, fuck that man, like he fucking sucked. But you'll be okay. If you don't protect yourself in the beginning, once you're way further in, like you're with someone for 4, 5, 6 months, you're already invested in that person. So it's way harder for you to pull back. Now I decided that you don't want this with me, so I'm gonna be just fine. That's the point when you start allowing shit that you shouldn't have allowed, which is something that I did. I played house for 9 months. hoping that this person was gonna maybe want to be in a relationship with me. And even though I made it very clear in the beginning, even though I did kind of ask intentions in the beginning and they kind of made it seem like it, you can still get hurt. So make very clear, like, you guys both know, like, yes, I want a relationship, not I'm going with the flow, not like, oh, I'm deciding to see where this goes, like maybe I want a relationship. Like I think if a man or just anyone in general tells you like, I want to go with the flow or I want to see where this goes, I think that's such a red flag. I would tell you, if you want to ask someone, just straight up, like, don't be embarrassed about, you know, asking somebody, oh, do you want to take this seriously, do you not? I mean, the worst they're gonna tell you is that they don't want the same thing as you, and then you end it and, you know, you feel uncomfortable for a little and then you move on. You don't really lose anything. Or the other person was like, this, I don't know if he's planning to ask me out. I'm not sure how to ask if he's looking for something serious. This is another thing. Stop ignoring your gut instincts. I've listened to a lot of people's words instead of their actions. If you've been seeing someone for several months and you're not sure if they're gonna ask you out, and if you feel like you're being strung along or you're wasting your time, you need to listen to your intuition. I feel like God, the universe, whatever you believe in, has like literally instilled it into women to have gut instincts, because men are lying ass motherfuckers. I feel like we have to have that gut instinct to be able to like understand, like, okay, let me think beyond whatever the fuck this dumbass is telling me, because otherwise I'm gonna be fucked over. And then also just ask, really just ask. I have learned to just communicate shit, because otherwise you waste your time, you get hurt more. How to heal from a breakup. I feel like I get asked this all the time. I personally have had several casual relationships, but then I have only had like 2 actual official serious relationships. My last serious relationship, which is really the only one I consider for real, because the one I had before was like from high school and then a couple months into my freshman year of college, which was just a mess. But anyway, let's just say like I had one official serious relationship. When we broke up, I quite literally like lost my fucking mind. I don't know if you guys remember that time in my life, like last year. You guys remember that time where I was traveling a bunch? Like I was going to Spain, London, like New York, LA. Like I was somewhere basically like every 2 weeks. And y'all were like, how are you traveling so much? Bitch, it was because I lost my fucking mind. I was just trying to find some kind of way to like cope with the breakup, because it was so traumatizing to me. Even though I was the one that broke up with him, I did what I thought would make me feel better. And I feel like there is no exact algorithm or way to like heal from a breakup. I'm not against like kind of losing your mind for a little bit and doing some crazy shit if you need to do it, like whatever makes you feel better. But for me personally, after like this whole situationship thing that I was in for a little while, which just like recently ended, I feel like after every breakup, you get more prepared for the next one and you find better ways to cope with it. For me, with this recent one, it has been really hard for me, but not to the point where like I'm gonna go to Spain and blow thousands of dollars. I've kind of learned how to control my emotions. And personally for me, like exercise is a really big thing. I highly suggest like taking up something along the sorts of that, like a hobby. I run quite often. That's like a really great thing for me. I literally just posted on my story today where I was like, sometimes I cry when I run. Sometimes I sing. I don't scream because I feel like that would scare the fuck out of people, like just watching. I saw this one girl on TikTok that she was like, sometimes I go running and I scream. And I'm like, does that not frighten your neighbors? Like you running down the street screaming? But I mean, at the same time, who gives a fuck? Like whatever works for you. I literally have a playlist. This is so sick and almost low-key embarrassing, but like I have a playlist dedicated to like my ex before and then this guy this time. Just like full of songs that like accurately describe how I feel about the situation. So I'll play them when I'm running, and some of them, like I have it planned out with like the storyline of like how everything worked. So like the beginning of the playlist is just like when I was feeling so happy, and it's like a bunch of happy falling in love songs. And then the middle of it's just like all these songs about being confused, like, do you really like me? What's going on? Like it's just, I have it literally, maybe that's psychotic, I don't know what's wrong with me. And the end of it is like all the angry mad songs, like fuck you fucked me over. And those are the ones I play while I'm running, and it's just so therapeutic. I can only listen to them while I'm running. I can't listen to them while I'm working out because it just doesn't feel like a bad bitch for me to be, you know, like squatting or some shit and listen to the music. I don't know. When I'm running, it like really motivates me. Journaling, sometimes I journal. I just started doing pros and cons. Literally, I have pros and cons list of this person literally on my fucking table right here, so that every time I'm sad, I'm like, you know what, let me go remember why this person was shitty. It helps you kind of evaluate, because I feel like in our minds, we can sometimes fantasize situations. And I just saw this TikTok where it was like, the way that you fantasize about someone is a reflection on how you feel about yourself. This person that I was just involved with, I was telling myself, I'm like, oh, he's so kind, he's so caring, he's so this, he's so that. And it's like, once I really thought about it, I was like, this motherfucker is really not kind or caring at all. Like, he has said some very offensive, like, I'm not even gonna air his shit out like that, but it's like, you're really not kind at all. But I view myself as very kind. And so I started to place this persona around him of like how I personally view myself. And I feel a lot of people do that. We romanticize, we create these things that these people really aren't. Something my therapist also taught me to do is, while in a relationship with someone, obviously you already broke up with them, you can't do this, but just moving forward, because we all know that all relationships are not going to be permanent, so it may be a good idea for you to start this now if you're just started dating somebody. But she suggested, like, keep a notes section in your app of all the times that they have made you feel good and all the times that they have made you feel bad, like every single little thing. And then, you know, if you do break up, you can go back to that and you can kind of see, okay, how much more often do they make me feel good over how much more often do they make me feel bad. Come back into your own. I mean, I am not against getting under somebody to get over somebody. Do what you gotta do. Can we talk about how men literally treat girls they aren't attracted to like they are not human? I think this is a very interesting topic, and one that I probably am not, this is gonna make me sound cocky, but you know what, that's okay. I feel like this is probably a topic that I am not the best person to be speaking about, just because pretty privilege is very much so a thing. And while not everyone is going to be attracted to me, obviously, because everyone's taste is different, I feel like I am conventionally attractive. And so I haven't really experienced someone treating me unkindly because they're not attracted to me. I mean, I obviously experienced that in middle school and high school, but I think those children just being fucking kids. As a woman now, I haven't personally experienced that, so I can't give my personal experience, but I have heard a lot of people talk about it. I've seen it on TikTok as well. Pretty privilege it is such an extreme, powerful thing. My mom and I joke about it, but it's like everything somehow manages to work out for me every time I go somewhere or do something. If I'm going to the mechanics, I'm like, I'm gonna put a cute outfit on, I'm gonna do something because I know these motherfuckers gonna give me a discount because they think I'm pretty. To go pick up even shit on fucking Facebook, got him, I'm gonna get a discount. And so like I have that privilege to know that people will treat me differently because I have pretty privilege. And I'm sure that on the other end of it, it's insane. This is like when Emrata was getting cheated on or whatever, and everyone was like, I can't believe it, like she's so beautiful. If she's getting cheated on, what's gonna happen to me? And that's because society has placed the utmost importance on beauty, which is something that is just so fucking insignificant. Like, it's insane how much we care about how pretty we are. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar fucking industry for a reason, because everything in this world revolves around beauty. Yeah, I mean, men are very shallow human beings. Their entire attraction to the opposite sex, if they are attracted to the opposite sex, is purely mostly based, no, even if they are attracted to the same sex, them motherfuckers that only care about somebody being hot. There was this guy that I was seeing here, like the first couple weeks when I got here. His whole thing was about how hot I was. Like I was a fucking object to him, basically. That's quite literally how men view women. So it's like, if you don't appeal to them as a pretty shiny object, they treat you like you're a piece of fucking shit. I hope that our generation raises their sons a lot better. Very concerned for the future, but yes, I mean, it's no surprise that men are fucking shit. Anyways, how to get over insecurities in the bedroom. This is funny, I was just talking about this with somebody. Speaking from a heterosexual point of view, if you are a woman sleeping with a man, the higher power of this universe perfectly programmed men to literally sleep with anything and anyone. If you have any insecurities, you really shouldn't. A man will fuck a McChicken because it's warm and wet. The things that you think are like, oh my god, like he's thinking about this, he's thinking about that. That motherfucker is not thinking about shit right now. Like he is thinking about like, oh, I got one off, bro. I hit him. This shit is so lit. That's all he gives a fuck about. He does not care that your asshole is discolored or your coochie has, you know, a few hairs or something, or you have fucking bikini bumps. Men don't give a fuck. I remember when I first like became sexually active, I was super insecure. This was before I got laser, so like I had a lot of bikini bumps. You guys, if you've seen my laser journey, you know how bad my bikini line was. I literally thought I had an STD and I was still a virgin. I was insecure about my butthole being dark, which is just so stupid. Like just all these things that we are concerned about. And then as time went on and I experienced a bit more, I quite literally understood that most men don't even wash between their ass. They don't take showers. They wear the same fucking underwear 10 times over. They just don't care. Like, why are you being insecure? Someone had asked this question too, which I feel we can lead into that later. This comes into seeing yourself as the prize. So if you circle back around and you regain your self-worth and you understand, like, I'm this fucking beacon of light, he should be so lucky to even touch me or like breathe the air around me, I promise you that's all gonna go out of the window. And I think it's also something that happens when you're like newer to sex, or like you haven't experienced a lot, or you are someone that's doing like a lot of casual hookups. You're not really experiencing intimate like sexual interaction with someone. You're just kind of hitting and quitting. And so it's a little bit more nerve-wracking. Like when you're doing it casually, you have no idea who this person is, or you don't know them that well, or you don't hang out, or you don't really have a connection, and so you're kind of hyper-focused on this stuff. If you're sleeping with women, we understand that we're not meant to look like porcelain fucking dolls, so you're even more so okay there. Moving on to the next one, regaining your self-worth. After my relationship ended, I felt like I lost a lot of my self-confidence, and it was so peculiar for me because I felt like I was always such a confident person. When my relationship ended, I felt like I had lost a large form of my validation, which I didn't even realize was a large form of my validation, and I just started feeling really ugly. Like I didn't feel sexy, I didn't feel good about myself, like, and I felt like shit for months, and it took a lot for me to get it back. And I have always preached like fake it till you make it, but you know, obviously like that's only gonna take you so far. For me personally, I just started like trying to do things that made me feel better. I changed my hair. I wore makeup all the time because I felt prettiest when I had it on. I bought myself like lingerie or like cute like sleeping clothes, things that made me feel like really good about myself. I tried to regain my feeling of sexiness. And no, not all of your self-worth should be based on your appearance, but I feel like a lot of times when you look good, like you think you look good, you feel good. Doing that inner work and that outer work and like really focusing on like how am I going to be a better person and how am I going to look like a bad bitch at the same time was like really important for me. So I spent a couple months just like doing all these things, going to the gym, prioritizing my health. You kind of have to find what makes you feel good, and don't rush it. Like it'll come with time. The biggest thing is just don't look for validation or your worthiness in other people, especially men. It's not really like that big of a compliment for a man to be like, oh, you look good, because let's be real. Have you ever left the house looking like fucking dusty? Or when you have like a mask and sunglasses on and they're like, ooh, mommy, you look so good. And it's like, bro, you can't even see me, or I look like absolute fucking trash. That's why you shouldn't take a compliment from a man ever. I got ghosted and it's driving me crazy. I feel like I really like this guy and we connected, and then he disappeared and I can't stop thinking about him. Do you think I should ask what happened or leave it alone? I'm not really sure what to do, but I obviously feel like I'm starting to become obsessed. I was just talking about this too. This happened to 2 of my friends. Has this happened to me before? I think have I been ghosted before? I think I was ghosted once, but that was because I got catfished. And it ended very quickly. I have ghosted people quite a lot. That's just because I suck at confrontation. I feel like a lot of times when we cannot control a situation, we're not communicating it with us enough, we don't really know what's going on, it leads back to this whole like over fantasizing about people and making them into things that they aren't. And we start putting these people on pedestals. And the thing is like, if someone ghosted you, speaking as someone who has ghosted other people, they're a piece of fucking shit. If they're doing that, why are you putting them up on this pedestal, and why are you stressing it? There's no greater answer than silence. I respect you so little and your emotions so little that I'm not even gonna give you the decency to tell you that I don't want anything to do with you anymore. I would rather prioritize my comfort over giving you any type of closure or like any type of understanding of what happened. On top of it, I also feel like a lot of us battle our egos. It's so common for when like someone ghosts you for you to start getting obsessed with it, because it ties back into your self-worth. You're like, what the fuck did I do wrong? What did I say? What did I do? Why do they not like me? What happened? And it's all about me. Like everything is just like, what was wrong with me? Like no, it just didn't work out. You start becoming obsessed with them, and it's all your ego. It makes you feel insignificant and it hurts your feelings. If they had probably just given you an exact reason on why things didn't work out, it would hurt for a little and then you'd get over it because you probably don't even care that much. This is why so many girls are like, I don't even understand, like, I don't even like him that much. Why am I acting like this? And it's like, because it's literally your ego. Moving on to our friends section. Should I text an old girlfriend that did me wrong in the past if I am thinking of them? The best thing my therapist ever taught me is that sometimes people aren't toxic, but you guys are toxic for each other, and some things just need to be left in the past. And depending on like your situation, I don't really know the full story, but if that person did you wrong, like legitimately actually did you wrong, it's on them to make that apology to you. And again, if they're not mature enough to communicate with you, if they're not mature enough to handle that confrontation or to have that difficult conversation with you, that's not a good friend. Because the thing is you should be able to have these conversations and be able to work through them and continue on. And if they are not old enough or mature enough or care enough to even do that, that's probably not a good friend for you to have. If you feel like you have some unsaid things that you would like to get off of your chest, I would do it. I mean, personally, when me and my previous friend like no longer spoke to each other anymore, I reached out again and was like, listen, this is what's on my mind. I kind of wanted to get it out. She never responded to me, but that's okay. That was my release. And sometimes we do need closure with people that were in our lives. I think a lot of times like the friendship connection is like a different type of soul tie, and it really hurts when someone fucks you over. I think it all comes down to respect and like, again, empathy and people really caring about you. And it's like, if someone can't do that, they're just not a good friend. And it's hard, like finding good friends. Someone asked that question also. I'm gonna tie these into the other two questions somebody asked. I spent a majority of my life with kind of subpar friends, and I feel like I've just recently started finding like really good people in my life that hold the same characteristics as me, and that I truly enjoy being around, and like you feel so cared for. And I never thought that was gonna happen. Like I thought I was just like, damn, I'm just like this weird ass person that cares so much about people and I'm willing to do so much for them and like all these things. I guess everybody else isn't like that. With time, you find better people and you get more experience with understanding the red flags that are also displayed in friendship. Don't sacrifice your boundaries and things just to have people in your life, because if there's anything I've learned with time is that people come and go and better comes along. Finding good friends, what are the signs? Obviously this is different for everybody, because some people like want to fucking party, and they need to find people that party too, and that's a good sign for them. I think like the fundamental basis of a good friend is one that you can depend on, one that is an emotional support system for you. I don't understand what the fuck this shit is on Twitter that they're talking about, like, oh, I'm not here to be your fucking therapist. Like, why are you even my friend if I can't tell you when some shit is wrong with me? I spent almost my entire teenage life with friends that I quite literally could never go to speak about when something was wrong. And I had no emotional support system, and so I thought that's how friendships were. Like, I thought we were just supposed to like fucking kick it and like never talk to each other about serious shit, which was just so strange. Now as a like older person, I understand that that's not normal. I feel like it's pretty good to have people that kind of have this similar interest as you, because like, what the fuck are y'all gonna talk about? You want someone that makes you feel comfortable and at peace. I feel like all the friends that I have in my life now are people that make my inner child feel loved, no matter what way that is expressed for you. There's also love languages for friendships, and I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about that. But like, friendships are the most important things in our lives, much more so than relationships, I would say. Understand what is a form of love language for you in terms of friendship. For me, quality time in a relationship is not my love language, but for friendships it is. Acts of service is a love language for me for both of them. I wouldn't say words of affirmation is for me with friendships, but it is for me with relationships. I think gift giving is actually a big one for me in friendships, but not relationships, which is very strange. But just, I think that that's also because like a lot of my friends that I previously had would never buy me a birthday gift or like any of that stuff. So I think it's important for me now, especially because I'm such a gift giving person to all of my friends. Like anytime I go out, I'm like, do you want something? Or I saw this, like I thought of you, or I brought this back for you. So it's like, I kind of like when people do that for me too. But a really big sign that I've realized is people that I feel like I can spend a very long time with. Like if I can't hang out with your ass for more than 3 hours, like please get the fuck away from me. Like I shouldn't be getting annoyed hearing you talk. You're not my person. Friends turning on you and like how to get over betrayal. Something that I learned very well this year from somebody is that you have to learn not to take things so personally. A lot of times people are not evil and they don't intentionally want to harm you most often. The thing is we are always just, we're some of our experiences, and sometimes people don't know how to do better. They have either experienced that or their behavior comes from someone doing something shitty to them.
I'm editing the video right now and I forgot to say this, but my therapist had advised to me whenever somebody did something wrong to me and I acknowledged that it was most likely because of their past or something that happened to them, to just imagine them as a child and someone doing that to them. Like, imagine them as this little kid and someone doing what they did to you to them. And it helps you empathize because you understand that this is probably something that they were taught or brought up with, and so they don't understand.
We're human, like, we're not perfect. You're gonna fuck up sometimes and people are gonna hurt you. I'm a very, very, very fucking big person. On someone goes low, I'm always gonna go high. I just had this person that like I was kind of friends with, and she basically did me a favor and then tried to throw it back on me and was like, well, I did this for you, so I'm not gonna keep my other end of something. I don't know, it was just like I was so mind blown. I just couldn't even believe it. And it involved money, which, you know, that's always touchy. But I was just like, you know what? You want to act like this? You want to show your ass? I'm gonna be a better person, because I do truly believe in karma, and whatever goes around comes back around. So don't even sit there being like, oh, steaming inside because someone did you wrong, because they are going to get their fucking karma, their payback, whatever. It's gonna come back. And honestly, for me, I've learned to try to keep my energy very pure. I hope that doesn't come back to you. I hope that you're able to learn some other way, because I would hate for someone to like get hurt or something. Like, obviously there's a part of me that's a little vengeful. Like, I'm not a fucking saint. Obviously, but like, that's what you get, bitch. Trying to be a better person. I wouldn't want you to experience that. I would want you to find some other way to learn, but karma's a bitch and things always come back around. Feel what you feel, let it go, and you know, like I said, there's better friends out there. All right, last question. Handling loneliness in your 20s. It's like this whole thing, I see it a lot on Twitter and Instagram, and it's like, if you can't be by yourself, something's fucking wrong with you. And I actually had a friend that used to always get on me because she's like, why do you always want to hang out? Like, what's wrong with you? You need to learn how to be by yourself. And I think there is, obviously, like, you should be able to sit in your room by yourself and like be okay with hanging out with yourself. But I also think we're very social human beings, and it's very natural, especially at a young age, to want to interact with people. Loneliness in your 20s is very common, especially because we're dealing with very empty relationships. We're still learning how to make friends. It's a very hard time for your brain to process. Like, you're going through a lot of things and you can feel very lonely. You can feel like you don't have people that love you or care about you. I think the best thing to do is just like try to immerse yourself, work through it, you know, try to find good friends. If you have family that you can lean on, I think a lot of times we take for granted that we have family. For those people that do have family, we have people that love us, and like, I don't know, I kind of always took it for granted that I had my mom that I could go to and talk to, and it's like, she's my best friend. So it's like, for me to ever be like, oh, I have nobody in my life, it's like, bitch, you literally have like the best fucking person on your side. I think prioritizing like being social and going out. I used to never go out. I stayed in my room all the time. I didn't want to do anything. And sometimes we put ourselves into ruts that we really shouldn't. Like, you gotta kind of push past that and go out and live your life. And like, you're only in your fucking 20s once. Like, this is a very, it sucks. This is a shitty time, but it's also one of the best times because most of us don't have kids. We're not married. We're only just with ourselves. Like, you can destroy your fucking credit and like in 3 years you can pick it back up. Like, this is the time to make mistakes, do dumb shit. Don't be lonely. Go hang out, date some people, like, live life. Be like me. Go through a 2-year relationship breakup, go to Spain, almost die in the hospital. Like, just do stuff, you know, live. The thing I can say that I definitely learned within like the last 2 years is be okay with making mistakes. Like, this is the time where you have some wiggle room to make mistakes and like you can still recover. So go out to a bar by yourself. Like, I did that a few times. I was scared shitless, but like, it was really fun. So go to the library. I mean, take yourself out on dates. This is like, again, it circles back to like self-worth and stuff. You have to be your best friend. Like, you have to be okay with being with yourself. Not that I'm saying that you have to be with yourself 24/7, because I don't think that's fucking normal. But like, learn to have fun alone. I have immensely learned to have fun alone. I actually talk to myself all the time. We have great conversations. You know, you learn to just have fun and, you know, go out with your friends and things. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this girl talk. There were a few more questions, but it's not really related to those 3 topics, so I'm gonna leave them for the next girl talk. Make sure you follow me on Instagram because I do put the questionnaire box on there for you guys to send in all your questions. But I hope you guys enjoyed this girl talk. It is very fucking long. It's probably gonna get demonetized because I talked about so much stuff, but yeah, I've been talking for 45 minutes. Holy shit. Okay, that's gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoyed this girl talk. I will see you guys next time.